Hi everyone, and welcome to Inside Bristol. I'm your host Sheridan Nichols. Well, kicking off the show today, I've got Helen Scott with me. She's the Executive Director of the Healing Hands Health Center. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
It's so nice to see you, and I love your red coat.
Thank you. I wore it on purpose, as you know, for the cupcake fundraiser.
I know, and it's the 12th annual.
Yes.
I just can't even believe it, and tell us a little bit about the fundraiser.
So Blackbird Bakery in Bristol donates 900 cupcakes to Healing Hands Health Center in Bristol, and for a $50 donation, we take the cupcakes to the local hospitals and to senior living facilities. And then because of COVID, we don't deliver for people, but for a $50 donation, they can come pick up a cupcake at Healing Hands and deliver it themselves to who they would like to deliver it to. So that's one change we made last year because of COVID. But our goal is $30,000, and that's very doable. We usually make $30,000. And when we first started talking about having a cupcake fundraiser in the very beginning, people thought, is it like a bake sale? So it's nothing like a bake sale, but it's a feel-good fundraiser where people who are often forgotten, like in nursing homes, or people who are working so hard and are so tired, like at Bristol Regional Medical Center and Johnston Memorial Hospital, we surprise people, and it's such a great thing to do, and it's on Valentine's Day.
And you get a lot of volunteers to come and pick up these cupcakes.
Yes, we do.
Make them look gorgeous, which they already look gorgeous, but package them and get them to the right spot.
So the Blue Stocking Club is a group of dedicated women who volunteer every year, and they help us so much, and we couldn't do it without them. It takes a lot of people to pull this together, and
absolutely.
We appreciate them too.
And what if we'd like to get a cupcake and donate it? How do we go about doing that?
So the best way to order a cupcake is to go online to our website, healinghandshealthcenter.org. And if somebody doesn't have access to a computer, you can call the clinic, and it's 423-652-0260 and ask, and we could mail some information, or somebody could stop by the clinic to order one or more.
And when is the deadline?
So the deadline is Wednesday, February the 9th.
Okay.
Right before, Valentine's Day is Monday, February the 14th. It'll be here before we know it. It comes around so fast. And another thing that is different this year is for people who want to come pick up their own cupcake or cupcakes and deliver it themselves, you pick it up across the street from Healing Hands. We have just built a new building. It's the J.D. and Lorraine Nice Wonder Education Center. It's exactly across the street from our clinic. It's 234 Midway Medical Park, and we're down the street from Kroger. And so there's a lot of space in there for us to
get it all organized.
Yes, and so instead of coming into the clinic, now it's across the street at our education center.
Who came up with this idea?
So I guess about 13 years ago, I read an article where Interfaith Health Clinic in Knoxville started it, and it was their first year to do it. And so they are a medical and dental clinic like we are. And so I know the executive director, and I called her and I said, would you mind if we did it too in our area, to make sure she was okay with that? And she was great about it and said, sure. And at first we thought $50 a cupcake. And I had somebody say, well, why don't you say $25? And I said, well, we'd have to sell twice as many. Yes. So from the beginning, it's been a $50 donation to Healing Hands. On the bag, it says a gift has been made in your honor. There's a card that goes inside that says who donated it with their special message. So it's really a feel-good fundraiser, and especially widows or people that you haven't worked with in a while that you don't see anymore. It's so touching to receive a cupcake and think somebody cared about me.
Yeah, and this is so true, and especially right now when we are living in this pandemic and people are so much more isolated.
Yes.
It's a good sense of community, that's for sure.
And so, Healing Hands has an annual operating budget of $1.3 million. So this is one of many fundraisers we do, but $30,000 helps us a lot.
And where does that money, how is that used?
So it goes to our operating budget, and so really for about $30,000 we can help about 300 people with medical and dental care. And dental is the most requested need, and we've got 9 dental operatories, and it just takes a lot of money to run a clinic, and we just ask for a nominal fee for when people come who are uninsured. So it's helping the uninsured of Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia.
That's so great.
Medical and dental primarily.
Well, thank you so much. I know it will be successful.
Yes, thank you.
So
and
if you need to get a cupcake, now's the time. For
Yes,
sure, get
yes.
online and order one and send it to someone special or someone you just haven't talked to for a while or that's been on your mind.
Yes, it's a great fundraiser, and I know you've ordered before, so thank you very much.
It is, yeah, it's so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols. Well, up next, we're going to hear when King University's Martin Luther King Day celebrations will be rescheduled. They were postponed because of snow.
Well, happy Martin Luther King Day to all those who are watching. We just want to let you know that the services and the programs that we had planned, unfortunately due to inclement weather, had to be postponed. But great news, we are still coming together, and we're coming together, and it's not a day off, but definitely a day on. And so the new dates have already been posted, and so if you are here and you're listening and you're here to participate, the King Institute of Faith and Culture would like to invite you to come out to what we've been planning for this entire year, coming out on February 1st and February 2nd. On February 1st, on Tuesday, February 1st, at the Lee Street Baptist Church, we will have our very, very special guest, Natasha Sinstruck Robinson. Dr. Robinson is a wonderful, wonderful theologian, a wonderful, wonderful person who's coming to share her truth, and she shared not only her truth, but her book, Sojourner's Truth, and that's going to be a Sojourner's Truth, Choosing Freedom and Courage in a Divided World. That's going to be a lecture and opportunity for her to speak to us at 7 p.m. at Lee Street Baptist Church. And then afterwards, the very next day, at the Memorial Chapel at King University, you can also hear her during the Memorial Chapel at 10 a.m. So we are definitely excited for everything that's happening. But guess what? Something special. You want to get there early, because on February 1st at 6:30 p.m., there's going to be a vigil to highlight the coming and all the things that we have as Bristol beloved community comes together. So you definitely want to be there, and you definitely want to make sure that you're in the place. We may have been stopped for the weather now, but it's not going to stop the weather, stop what we're doing now, because we're here to bring you great programming, and you don't want to miss it. The Martin Luther King Day Committee really was just a program committee that have just come together based on the program that they were doing every Martin Luther King Day. So up under the leadership of Margaret Fire Robin and Tina McDaniel, they were the spearheaders of coming together to form a day of celebration that Bristol could come together. And so different people from civic organizations, from religious programming, churches, and everything from all around the community come together, just bring more highlights to the Bristol area, whether it's through programming, whether it's through things we could do as a community, whether it's the community service, and we all come together to bring programming so that people won't have to travel all around the Tri-Cities area. Usually they would have to go to maybe Johnson City or maybe go to the surrounding areas, but they wanted to have something that we could also make our presence known here. So people have just come together, and it's just basically just been grassroots for those who participated. And now we're a committee that said that we just don't want this to start for just one day. It just want something to be ongoing, and to let us partner with all of the organizations that can bring that information to Bristol. So that's how we become one big family, and now it's just been growing. But since the pandemic, we've gone virtual. And so we've had to make some adjustments, but from that, we've had the opportunity to share, bring programming, still keep the movement going, and when we get together, it's gonna be great. If you had not had the opportunity to see this year's program, guess what? You can still watch it. All you have to do is go Google or search the YWCA homepage and type in MLK 2022, and you can look at the event, and the program that was showed is still being able to run. And so if you go to the website, if you look at any of the information, and also if you go to the Facebook page of King University, the King Institute of Faith and Culture, you'll also see the book review that we did last year, and when we did a book study of a panel that we did when we did Chaos, a community coming together, as well as the other events that was everything that you missed, you can always go back and still like it. And so whatever you catch up on, you can still catch up on that. And so we hope that you get an opportunity where you get inspired to do what we ought to do, because we want to make the beloved community a better community. Bristol, remember, Bristol is not a good place to live, it's a good place to love.
Natasha Sistrunk Robinson comes to us from her new home in North Carolina. She is a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy, and she was a Marine for many years. She retired as a Marine captain. She also worked in the Department of Homeland Security for some time. She then went to seminary and kind of changed her career up, and she now does mentorship and leadership training, and is also just finishing a doctorate in theology at North Park Seminary. Natasha has a book called A Sojourner's Truth that kind of lays out some of her own story. She's also got a book called Mentoring for Life, and she's produced a couple other Bible study kind of volumes. So she has been scheduled with us for 2 years, and we finally are getting her here thanks to COVID easing up a little bit, at least we hope. We are requesting that people be masked for this event, for both events, the evening at Lee Street Baptist and the next morning at King, for some of her health concerns. Natasha is going to be at Lee Street Baptist on February the 1st at 7 o'clock in the evening, and then the next morning she'll be at King at 10 a.m. After her 10 a.m. talk, she will be available for a coffee reception. We'd love to have anybody come to that and have some time to spend with her. It's been great for the King Institute to partner with the MLK Committee here in Bristol. Margaret and Tina and certainly Pastor Ward have been instrumental in making that a community-wide event, something that brings us together to enact Dr. King's vision. And the theme this year, I Still Have a Dream, is particularly good given that we're muddling through all the COVID material that we're dealing with. So we are really pleased to be part of that. And this year, with the efforts that went into the historical markers last fall, that was a lot of what the MLK Committee focused on this year. So we are just going to have a candlelight event before the evening talk as part of those events. Our spring series has had to adjust a little bit. Unfortunately, we've had to cancel our event for January 24th, who was Chief Isaiah McKinnon. He was formerly police chief in Detroit, Michigan. He wrote the top editorial for USA Today in 2020, but his doctor told him not to travel just now. So we're hoping to reschedule him for next year. We've moved Natasha. She had to move because of inclement weather. But then we are excited to add a program this year. February 7th, we're going to bring in Dr. Bill Turner. Bill is kind of the leading scholar of African American history in Appalachia. He grew up in Harlan, Kentucky, as a part of a mining family, and he studied sociology, went and did a PhD at Notre Dame, and he has taught at Berea College. He's been an administrator at Kentucky State, and for 10 years, he was the personal researcher for Alex Haley. So he's had a lot of experience studying the history of this region. And so he brings that experience to us on February 7th. He'll be speaking at 9:15 in the chapel at King. And again, we will have a reception after for anybody who wants to join. He'll be speaking at 7 p.m. That evening at Central Presbyterian Church in Bristol, Virginia. Dr. Turner has just published a new book. He's got several publications, most notably Blacks in Appalachia. But his new one is called The Harlan Renaissance, about growing up in coal country, some of his personal reminiscences woven into his larger history. So we're very excited to have Dr. Turner coming. He's not in our brochure yet. We're going to try and adjust it a little bit, but he'll be here on February 7th. February 28th, we welcome IBMA award-winning fiddler, songwriter, and singer Becky Buller with her band. She'll be at King in the morning on February 28th. And at the Birthplace of Country Music in the evening at 7 p.m. It is free, but it's first come, first serve, and they only seat about 100. So if you want to come hear Becky Buller, be there a little early. And we have other events coming up through the spring we're excited about. Our Holocaust speaker, a survivor, is not going to be able to come again because of health concerns, but we do have Kelly Brown from Milligan College, who's just published a book on music and the Holocaust. We're excited about her coming on March 21st. In April, we have 3 programs all crammed together at the end. The strangeness of timing this year has been interesting to deal with scheduling. Our own Bill Linderman, who's a mathematician, is going to do a concert of music he's written for piano, cello, voice, and flute. He'll play the piano and we'll have some other instrumentalists. That'll be on Sunday, April 3rd at 3 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church, at King in the Memorial Chapel, and then on the Monday morning he'll play as well. Then on April the 7th and 8th, we're still waiting to confirm a little bit. We believe we have British poet and musician Malcolm Guite. And we've been trying to get Malcolm for a couple of years and had to reschedule. He is a remarkable poet and speaker and musician, and when you're in his presence, you think you've just stepped into Middle Earth. He looks and sounds like something right out of J.R.R. Tolkien, and he's just wonderful. So we're hoping we have him on April 7th and 8th. And then finally on April 11th, we have our annual Frederick Buechner Lecture. Our series was originally named for novelist Frederick Buechner, and we still have an annual event in his honor, and that event is going to be about the 40th anniversary of his memoir, The Sacred Journey, which is a very widely read memoir of his youth. And our speaker is Jeff Monroe, who just did a book called Reading Buechner last year. So we're excited about these upcoming events. Everything is free and open to the public, and we hope people will come out and be part of it. Our website can be found at faithandculture.king.edu, faithandculture.king.edu. We're also on Facebook, and so anybody can find information through those sources.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host Sheridan Nichols, and I've got Beth Carter with me today, looking all cute and decked out in some fun outdoor gear that would be perfect to play disc golf.
Have to represent the deer out at our park.
That's right. Yeah, tell me about this event that's coming up out at Steel Creek Park.
Yeah, so on February 6th, we're going to have the Ice Bowl tournament, which is actually an annual thing that is hosted at the different disc golf courses around the region. Unfortunately, last year we weren't able to do it, but in 2020, we were able to host it out there. It went great. It was actually a surprisingly warm day, so it's a toss-up as to whether it's actually going to be icy outside or warm, but snow, sleet, perfect weather, they play regardless. It's $10 to enter, and all proceeds go to Second Harvest Food Bank of Northeast Tennessee. I think in 2020 we raised about $600 with our tournament alone, so that doesn't even include the ones.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't even include the ones at all the other disc golf courses. But you're also welcome to bring any canned foods or any other kind of non-perishable foods to donate as well, and we'll get them out there.
Now, do you sign up as a team or can you sign up individually?
So you can do both. You can bring a group with you, or we can kind of just mesh you with other single players. You generally play as like a foursome. So we do the sign-ups day of, that starts at noon over at the Steel Creek Golf Shop, and we'll do tee-offs starting at 1. And it's kind of like a shotgun start where everyone starts at a different tee. That way you can do the front and the back 9, which the front 9 is more of like a lengthy kind of like open space course, whereas our newer back 9 is like wooded, kind of more trick shots, but they are shorter distances. So you get kind of the best of both worlds out of it.
So that's exciting. So this isn't something we need to sign up for before we just show up on February 10th and be there by noon ready to play and ready to donate. And it's for such a great cause too.
Yes, we're super excited to have it. We're super excited to start having events again. In general, we've kind of missed out like on a full year, so we're ready to ramp it back up again.
That's exciting. So if anybody has any questions, where should they go to find answers?
So you can call the golf shop and they'll forward you to me. You can email me at ecarter@bristoltn.org, or you can call me at 423-341-8174. and we can get whatever questions you have answered.
Now, what about if you're really interested but you don't have all the equipment and all the discs? How do you?
So we actually do sell some discs at our shop. Generally, the more skilled players tend to have very particular discs that they want to use, but there are different divisions that you can play in. There's like pro and amateur and recreational, juniors, ladies, those sort of things. So it's not like you're going to be competing necessarily against the best of the best. We will have trophies for all of the first place winners in each division, so we just want to make sure we recognize the good ones.
That's great, and it really is a lot of fun. So if you haven't tried it, it's definitely something that everybody can do and enjoy. And so, well, thank you so much for sharing this event with us.
Thank you for having me. We're super excited to have it again. So.
Yeah, put it on your calendars, February 10th. Alrighty, thanks, Beth, and thank you for tuning in today. We'll see you next time.